What's up? Happy Wednesday. Welcome on into Let's Bet It. Lauren Jabara here with Alex Glaze. Alex, haven't seen you in a minute. How have you
I
been
know.
doing? How are you? How's your
Uh,
Wednesday going, my friend?
listen. Good to be here. I see you got your Peloton in the bag. I started some Peloton boxing yesterday. I'm really pumped
Oh, what
about
is that?
Peloton. Kendall just launched and Kendall and I forget the other two trainers that are involved, but just started this new series. I'm really pumped
Hmm,
about it. Started off yesterday, so good things happening.
that's exciting. I love it. All right. So before we get started, I want to make sure that everyone's subscribing, liking, commenting, because we're doing the show every single day, 10 a.m. We're giving you our best bets, breaking down some games for the night, looking at early birds, games for the weekends. So much to get into. So like, subscribe, comment, 10 a.m. every single day. So much fun to be doing this show with you guys. So yeah. All right, slate of topics for the day. NHL Ice Picks. We're taking it to the ice. A lot of really exciting games going on tonight. Then we have Brian Scalabrine on. Cannot even wait to get him back on the show. Talk a little NBA. Quite a few NBA games going on, trends that we're seeing around the league. College basketball picks really heating up. We're starting to see what teams are good, what teams are not good, and what teams that we are kind of surprised by at this point of the season. And we cannot end without our Pickswise play of the day and our best bets of the day. Because Alex, I know yours is a really good one, and I'm excited for you to give it out.
I'm
Because
following yours. I'm following your play today. Whatever it is, I've already decided I'm following it.
no,
So
you can't even don't put that pressure on me. Don't even put that pressure on me. All right, without further ado, let's get it. Let's bet it. Taking it to the ice. You're looking at the slate of games tonight. What stands out to you? Who are you betting on?
a lot of great hockey last night too, but
Mm-hmm.
tonight I'm looking at the Avs. And I like them on the money line, but I'm going to do it the money line three-way, right? So I'm getting plus 100 when you do the three-way. So that means I need the Avs to win in regulation, no overtime there. They're playing the Rangers tonight, coming off a big win, but this is the second half of a back-to-back for them, and they were on the road. So maybe some fatigue here. And we went through the numbers last week. I can't recall them off the top of my head, but this year back-to-backs have not been kind to teams that are on that second half. So all good things for the Avs. And then also when you just consider that they're leading the league in goal scoring,
Mm-hmm.
coming off a 7-goal performance on Monday, it's just everything is just telling me Avs tonight. So I'm going to take them on the money line in the three-way so I get that plus money.
Yeah, the Avs had an off day yesterday in New York. They've been chilling. They've just been waiting for the Rangers to come. And the Rangers did play well last night against Chicago, but that is tough. First of all, a back to back in the same city is tough, like having a home back to back. But when you're having a back to back, which we just had, and I'm exhausted, I don't even know how the
And then
players did it,
travel.
where you travel overnight after that game, get in at like 2, 3 a.m., depending on how long the flight is, finally get to bed, and then you have to wake up and do it all over again. That is tough on the body. It's tough on the mind. Um, so you look at something like that. You look at what the Avs have been able to do the last 10 games. They're 7-2-1. They're first in the league in goals per game, 27th in goals against. So that's been, I guess, their Achilles heel is they're having a hard time keeping the puck out of their own net. They're hoping for Darcy Kemper's return because Johansson and Noonan have struggled a little bit in net. But at least the scoring part of it, they've been able to outscore opponents, and that's kind of how they've been winning. So it's hard to argue with a team like the Avs with fresh legs who are waiting for the Rangers to come in. The Rangers are one of the hottest teams in the NHL right now. I'm actually taking the Avs puck line in this game at plus 170. I am also taking the over. It's over 6. So you look at the Avs, they're averaging about, I think, like 4.2 goals per game. And the Rangers are right up there too, averaging around 4 goals a game as well. You look at last night, the Rangers scored 6 goals. 2 nights ago when the Avs played Philly, they scored 7. I think the over is easily going to hit in a game like this. So I like over 6. And then I also like the Avs puck line, them winning by 2 goals or more at plus 170. I also am looking at the Dallas Stars tonight, taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. And I look at the Golden Knights and people are like, you can't bet against them. They're red hot right now. They're playing at home at T-Mobile Arena, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? I'm taking the Stars money line in this one at plus 115. The Stars have a 7-game winning streak going on right now. Vegas, they won 8 of their last 12, so they're also equally as hot in the league at this point. But I think defensively, the Stars are allowing like less than 2.6 goals a game or something like incredible right now. And they're 6-0 in their last 6 games following a win. Well, guess what? They've won the last 6 games. So every single time they continue winning. The Vegas Golden Knights, for me, they're a tough team to beat at home. But And that's where they do some of their best work is in front of the home crowd. Have you ever been to a Vegas Golden Knights game at T-Mobile Arena?
I haven't. I've actually never been to an NHL game. It's on my list. I got to go up to a Caps game. I have to go to a Caps game. I somehow listen. I've been to an ECHL game. I've been to an AHL game. I've never been to an NHL game. I need to go. Right.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
fine.
I don't know
It's
how
fine.
it hasn't happened. It just hasn't happened. I'm one of those people that needs to happen organically, and I've never been like, man, I really need to go to this, or no one's been like, hey, I got this. It's just never happened. It needs to happen though.
Yeah, I know. I think we need to get you to an NHL game. Well, I'm telling you, if you want to go and have like a full-on experience, going to a game in Vegas at T-Mobile Arena, it's like nothing you've ever experienced before. First of all, I feel like half of the fans aren't even fans. They're just going there for an experience, but they like buy all the gear. They're like ride or die Vegas fans. Second, before the game, it's like an absolute show. It's like you're watching, like, like you go to Vegas, you go to the shows and you see people dance and
Yeah.
like whatever. That's exactly what it's like, except for it's
I mean,
on the ice.
The Raiders have Michael Buffer, so I mean, I can only imagine what. I mean, it's Vegas, you know.
It's Vegas, baby. It's Vegas, baby. But I'm telling you, it's like nothing you've ever experienced before. So that gives the team a lot of momentum. Like I'd be pumped up, ready to run through a wall if I had that whole, and it's one of the loudest arenas probably in the entire NHL as well. But I'm getting plus money right now with one of the hotter teams in the league over the last 2 weeks, which is the Dallas Stars. They found something that works clearly. They've also won 5 of the last 7 in an underdog role. So the values with the Stars in this spot, I like it, taking the Stars money line at plus 115. How you feel
Lauren,
about
we
it?
got a question in the chat. The people will need to hear from you because you are just so hot
Okay.
right now. They want to know: would you parlay your Stars and Avs picks? Would you parlay those?
Yeah, I think I would parlay the Avs money line with the Stars money line, not quite go the Avs puck line with it, and you still get great value with that. I think the Avs are going to win the game. I'm leaning a little bit into the puck line just because of what they've been able to do. I think that if the goaltending holds up in that game for the Avs against the Rangers, then the puck line would be good. But if you are parlaying it, I would do Avs money line with Stars money line, and you're still getting good plus money value in
I
that
gotta
spot.
ask. I gotta ask you a question before we change topics here, since
Okay.
you are the ice queen here.
Ooh.
Uh, a couple coaches getting fired here. With the Canucks and the Flyers changing things up. How do those early season coaching changes affect players in the locker room and on the ice?
Yeah, I think it depends. So if you're a team like the Flyers who they've just been, I mean, they're just so bad right now. They're so bad. And I think they're 0-7-2 in their last 9 games. Like that does a lot for a team's confidence in the locker room because you start, I mean, not necessarily pointing fingers, but you're kind of like, is it me? Is it someone else? Blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of frustration that builds up. And I think that a new coach could add, a new fresh face. And it's not something that's going to happen right away. I think it's something that builds over time, the confidence back in the team, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think when you have a new coach coming in, they're implementing new schemes. It depends on who it is. Like, I always struggle saying his name, Bruce Bourgeois. Thank you. I cannot say his name. You say his name, Bruce Bourgeois.
Bruce,
I literally cannot, like, my mind will not say it. It's fine. But I think
is
when
it
you're adding, like,
Bourgeois? Bourgeois?
thank you. When you're adding good coaches to the team and they're respected, they're implementing schemes that have worked for them before, they're looking at the player personnel that they have. I think it just can rejuvenate the confidence in a locker room. And again, it's not going to happen overnight, but we've seen it happen in the NBA. We've seen it happen in the NHL. We've seen it happen for football teams, right? These new coaches coming in and just bringing this new sense of urgency, new sense of excitement. I mean, the new thing is always shiny, right? So yeah, I think it could, bring a little bit of a sense of excitement and confidence and help get out of a slump, help to not point fingers at other people and just, focus on the task at hand. And we see that with football too. Like, I mean, what do you think about Notre Dame's new hire? Just speaking of, I know I'm going off topic a little bit, but
Yeah, I mean, it's a home run, right? I
exactly.
mean, when you think of the names that were thrown out there, we heard Luke Fickle, we heard Matt Campbell. Marcus Freeman was the name that we heard from current players, former players, prominent alum, and it was just like a unified voice, right? So I think that there was no choice to be made. It's a guy that's already
Mhm.
established in the program, already knows, a guy that Notre Dame knows well. Yeah, he's young, but you know what? If you hear from all those people, current, former, and alum, one name, that's the guy you had to go with. So I think it's a home run
Yeah.
for them. It's a great it's a great job for him, a great opportunity. And it seems like, the players that's the most important thing, right? How is this going to affect the players? It sounds like the players love that too. You watch those videos on social media of them reacting when he's introduced and, seeing him and his family get embraced by that team. So great hire for Notre Dame.
And then speaking of other coaches, Oklahoma hiring. What do you think?
So that was a little interesting for me.
Okay.
Brett Venables, I mean, that's a big name. That's a big hire. To be honest with you, I mean, it's a good hire. I mean, that's a good job for Brett, obviously getting the head coaching gig there. Big loss for Clemson. The name that I'm surprised hasn't been thrown around at all in these hires, it seems like, is Dan Lanning, the defensive coordinator at Georgia. With the job that Georgia's done, it just seems kind of like he's kind of flying under the radar here. But
I have a funny story about that too. When you're,
I mean,
he was at the Hawks game the other day, and he was talking to Dominique Wilkins, and I didn't realize who it was. And obviously, Neek's a big Georgia Bulldog too, obviously, right? So they're chatting. Neek's like, yeah, another Georgia guy over here. And I go, go blue. And I didn't realize at the time who it was. And I'm just like,
there we go.
Myself out. There we go. Go home
the spot that seemed perfect for me when, we saw the coaching changes happen, Florida, right? It seemed like Florida should have just given him a blank check. It's a risky move because obviously he's a coordinator, hadn't been a head coach at that level. But he's a guy that would have had an impact on Georgia from a recruiting standpoint. It would have affected their team. And that's a guy right away that all of your recruits, they know Dan Lanning because, they're going after the same guys. I mean, so I was just surprised by Florida's pick more than anything. But the Notre Dame pick and the Oklahoma pick was a little surprising to me, but a good hire.
Notre Dame pick, home run, absolute home run. All right, let's switch over to talk a little NBA. I want to bring in our friend, Brian Scalabrine. Chat a little NBA with him. We haven't had him on in a couple weeks. So now that we're a few more weeks into the season, Brian, how are you doing? How are you feeling right now?
I gave you guys 2 home runs last week. So right now, like, the record is looking good. But, I know how this game goes. Once you start feeling good about yourself, that's when you come crashing down. But I feel good right now.
I absolutely love it. I know. So I've been red hot with my picks recently as well. And so there's going to be a time where, you kind of dip a little bit, but we're still waiting for that to happen. So we'll see. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the Knicks right now. 5-1 start to the season. Faltered a little bit since then. They're now 11-2. As a former player for Coach Tom Thibodeau, how does he get the Knicks back on track when they're in a spot like this and winning games in a extremely competitive Eastern Conference?
So I think the biggest thing is they're just playing better basketball, even though you're playing against Chicago, you're playing against Brooklyn. I love the win the other night against San Antonio. So I do think that the change to the starting lineup and getting Kemba out of there has been helpful. The numbers have not supported Kemba Walker. The defensive rating has not supported. I don't think that Kemba is a non-factor. I personally think Kemba needs to get ready, play hard, play for like 12 or 13 minutes in a game and go all out, just like he did in Charlotte. I don't think the issue is Kemba doesn't have game. I think the issue is Kemba can't play, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. So I'd still look for Thibodeau to try to get those guys going, but I like the changes that they've made. I think they're figuring things out. Ultimately, for this team to be good, they have to guard, which their defense has slipped lately, and they got to make 3-point shots. And if they can do that and not have to rely on Julius Randle so much down the stretch, I think the Knicks can sort of figure this out. Even though right now their record of late has not been good, I think they're playing better basketball.
Yeah. Yesterday we saw RJ Barrett step up in a big way. Just who do you think – is there a guy on that roster that can step up and kind of carry the load a little bit? Because Julius, I think what we've seen so far this year, he's not going to be able to carry the Knicks like he did last year, right? That's a lot to ask. That's too much to ask.
I like a lot of guys on their team, in spots. Like RJ Barrett could have his night. Obviously, like Evan Fournier can make shots and have his night. And I like Julius Randle as a player. I like Julius Randle as a 44-minute player for sure. the last 4 minutes of the game, I wouldn't just have everyone stand around and watch Julius Randle go to work. I do it collectively. Like there's moments where, and like with the Knicks, like he's good, but he's not good enough. I would just go at the matchup. There's always a guy on the floor who can't guard. So just figure out a way to get him in the matchup and then go at him. And it doesn't mean that guy has to shoot the ball. It means that they can move the ball and still get a good shot off of it. But you got to attack the weakest defender. I just can't do everybody knows Julius Randle's going to shoot. Here I go with my isolation. And then when I don't get the call, I'm going to blame the officials and get a technical late in the game. I can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, you look at some of these teams right now, we're starting to see COVID creep in a little bit to a couple teams, right? Like DeMar DeRozan entered COVID protocols. The Hornets right now have like 5 guys in there. Ish Smith, recently the 5th guy, 3 of their starters. With the Bulls, how do they win games without a guy like DeMar DeRozan? Like, do you see that happening, them kind of still, trending upwards?
I do like their depth. A lot of people don't know the names, but there have been times against really good opponents like the Utah Jazz where the bench, like Ayu Dosunmu, Tony Bradley, I think Troy Brown, like they're the guys they have on their team can win you games. But a lot of times the glue guy is Alex Caruso, and he might miss a week. And I think Alex Caruso, whether he's with the Lakers and he's with the Bulls, like he's just a winner and he figures out ways to win. So I think that they'll struggle without Alex Caruso out there, who does so much good things for them. So it's not just DeRozan being out, it's also Caruso with that bench. But who knows? Like the one thing is, this team reminds me of the Billy Donovan Oklahoma City team, which I love. It that was the team that had the incredible fourth quarter net rating with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chris Paul, and Dennis Schroeder and Danilo Gallinari before they sort of broke this thing up and went into full rebuild mode. But I like this team. I think the Bulls are still, by the way, if you like long shots and just like throwing some money on them, the Bulls have I think they're at 13-1 right now to go to the finals, to win the East. I'm not saying that I wouldn't bet them to beat Milwaukee, but you never know what's going to happen. That could be some good value in the Bulls making it to the finals.
Before we get into your picks, I got one question for you. Since you brought up the name Dennis Schroeder, I want to talk about your Celtics for a second. Just how about the job Brad Stevens has done in his first year in the front office? Getting a guy like Dennis Schroeder has been such a big piece for them. I mean, definitely getting your money's worth there with him.
Yeah, so Schroeder has been great. I think for the Celtics, they have to figure out, can we have like a stretch, and let's go 8 out of 10 games where you're getting Schroeder, Brown, and Tatum all sort of thriving in that environment. We haven't seen it yet. We get a lot of like roller coaster rides. It's one guy's night and the other guy's off. I want to see those 3 guys working together. And I know, like, I wouldn't give up on those guys because they're young and they're versatile, but I do want to see them like playing 2-man game. If you remember when LeBron and D Wade, and I know these guys aren't LeBron and D Wade, but they struggled for about 10 games. And then after a while, you started seeing LeBron and D Wade hook up in 2-man game and give and go, and they were running pick and roll, and they were tremendous in transition. I want to see these guys at least trending towards that direction. But you're right about Brad. Like, he just surrounded the team with guys who are mature and professional. And, I do like the way the Celtics are playing. It hasn't resulted in a great record, but they share the ball and they get after it defensively. Kind of a bad game the other night against the Lakers. But I'm looking forward to the time when Brown, Tatum, and Schroeder are all just having these remarkable games.
Need to get we have a question from Josh. Oh, sorry. What were you going to say, Alex?
No, I just said need to get Jaylen Brown healthy. That's the big thing. For them.
Yeah, but even when he's healthy, they just haven't had stretches where they're all good. I would agree with you if I saw games where I'm watching them and I'm like, man, these guys are amazing together, but they haven't had that yet. So yes, healthy. And I know what you're saying, like they just got to get a rhythm and get some reps, but I want to see these guys like really playing 2-man game and really compromising the defense.
Oh, we have a question from Josh in the chat. It said, why are the Bulls underdogs plus 2.5 against Cleveland? Is it because DeMar DeRozan's out, or is it because the Cavaliers are a solid team? I mean, looking at the standings in the East right now, it's so neck and neck between basically, the 4th spot all the way to like the 12th spot. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like the guys missing DeRozan and Caruso out. Cleveland Cavaliers coming off of a loss, and the Cavs are good. Like the Jared Allen Mobley combination in the paint. Not only are those guys, let's let's call them like they're paint enforcers, but they don't foul. They block shots. Mobley is a special defender. He has special NBA timing. So I think it's going to be difficult. Can the Bulls shoot the ball well enough and against the Cavs? So I could see why the Cavs would be such a strong favorite in this game, even though it looks like the Bulls are a much better team.
Looking at tonight, obviously the Celtics play again, right? Second half of a back-to-back in LA against the Clippers. I know you're talking about last night, obviously maybe not the best game from them, but when you look tonight, do they have a chance against the Clippers? Are you like, what do you see when you're looking at this game?
Did they go out last night in LA? If they didn't, then maybe they have a chance. No, I'll bring this up. Shooter averages like 28 points a game on back-to-back, so there's no travel. It is a back-to-back, but there's no travel in between. Like I don't love doing that. I don't love taking teams that they're on a back-to-back, and in the past they've done really well, so I guess they're going to do the same. Mm-hmm. But there are some signs that the Celtics can figure this whole thing out. I don't like the way they played basketball the other day against the Lakers. That would be yesterday. I didn't like the way that they played, but they have a chance to get after it. But I do have some locks for you if you want to know what I'm loving today. Of
course we do.
All right. So there's 3 games I really like. So the first game is I really like Memphis today. I think that Dallas is coming off a back-to-back. Like I'm a big believer in Memphis. I know they don't get the recognition that they deserve because Ja Morant is out, but this team, they really get after it defensively. They're going to make it tough. And that's not the type of team you want to play on a back-to-back. Like Dallas is like a slow down team and they want to give the ball to Luka. Luka's going to be worked every minute he's out there. So I do like Memphis beating Dallas today. Denver and New Orleans. Denver's coming off of a bad loss. They're in New Orleans. I like Denver today. I don't think they have anybody that can guard Jokic. And the last one is a sexy pick. The Golden State Warriors are playing the Portland Trailblazers. Trailblazers don't guard the three-point line. Is it even conceivable that Steph Curry tries to get 16 threes to break the record in front of his home crowd? If the Warriors try to do it and they're like only focused on Steph Curry, can we wrap our mind around a guy breaking an all-time record, not only for per game, which is held by Clay at 14, but also the all-time three-point record held by Ray Allen because he wants to do it in front of his home crowd. He said it might be possible, or anything is possible. So can Steph Curry make 16 threes today?
There's no way, right? There's no way.
So the way I think about this, if they just focused on that, which would be kind of like messing with the basketball gods, it would be kind of messed up. But if it was their sole focus, could they do it? High basketball IQ players like Iguodala and Draymond Green, there is a chance. It's not a nothing. It is something that I'm going to be watching. But I think the line is like 14. I think the Warriors will end up winning this game by a lot because Portland, to me, they're a mess right now. No CJ McCollum, no Dame Lillard, and they don't guard anybody.
Mm-hmm. I know. That is actually so crazy. Alex, I know that you have a lock for tonight too. I'm looking over it. You like the Milwaukee Bucks?
I do like the Bucks, mostly because I'm looking at the Heat, and they're going to be without, Jimmy Butler re-aggravated his tailbone injury, no Bam. And I think when those two are out, the Heat are just a completely different team. Tyler Hero has not been consistent at all. 7 points is a lot to lay in the NBA, but I just don't think the Heat are the Heat team that you think they are when you're missing guys like Bam and Jimmy. So pretty simple for me. I'm going to lay the 7 points, but right now I'm trying to look up what Steph Curry's 3-point total is for tonight. So Lauren, what do you got for tonight?
Actually, Brian, I want to hear your thoughts on this. I'm taking the Hornets money line tonight, and you're like, 5 players are out with COVID right now, blah, 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 blah. Well, it was a dramatic Philly win, their last game against Charlotte Hornets on Monday. Overtime. Now they're running it back again. Same 2 teams, different place. Kelly Oubre Jr. has been lights out the last couple of games with shooting. That's allowed them to almost upset the Sixers. Monday's performance from Kelly Oubre Jr., I don't think it was an anomaly as much as an actual trend. Like we've seen him really step up this season, especially the last few games. He's averaging 26 points in his last 6, and he's only scored less than 20 points in one of the last 7 games that he's played in, which is pretty incredible. I'm not expecting another 35-point performance from him tonight, but I think this version of him is going to be trouble for the Sixers. And then you look at I don't know. You look at Bridges, you look at Hayward. They're going to also have better outings after feeding the hot hand. They're going to be stepping into more of a facilitating role, I think. And I think that overcoming the Sixers defense isn't as daunting as it was last season, right? So you throw in the fact that the Sixers aren't necessarily beating teams in a convincing fashion. They've kept a lot of games close. They have a tendency of kind of letting teams hang around longer than they should. Their last 3 road games have been decided by no higher than a 3-point differential. So I kind of like the Hornets in this spot. They kind of have some momentum on their side, guys stepping up, playing really well, and I'm getting good value at plus 235. So Hornets money line, Brian, what do you think?
I think it's, and to even add to that, it's very difficult. You got to have like the maniacal superstar, like the Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans, the Larry Birds, like the guys like that, to beat a team in the regular season 2 times. Because one, you let go of the rope after you beat them once. You just don't respect the opponent. It's just natural. And 2, the other team is like just sitting there stewing, waiting to get back and play again. So just like, that's why the NBA playoffs are so odd. Like, most of the time, all the adjustments, most of the time it's just a team that came out with more of an edge. It's the team that wins. And, like I like Embiid as a person and the funny stuff that he says, but to me, he's not that maniacal star that's going to like win at all costs. So I really like your pick. The only thing that I don't like is no Ish Smith. I wish Ish Smith was not in protocol because I would be like, that's a lock all day. But like he's the type of guy that just can like he wreaks havoc on defenses. So they just got to sort of figure out their point guard by committee and how they do it. It's funny. One of my son's favorite players is James Bouknight. So I have to watch this game all night, record it, and then we got to watch all the highlights of Bouknight because my son just absolutely loves the guy.
Oh, that's crazy. I know. And it's so funny too, because Ish Smith played on Sunday against the Hawks here. And then he was out Monday with COVID protocol. It's just crazy how everything shifts so quickly and whatever. Alex, did you find your stat for us?
We got a number here, guys. So we got to go over this now for a second. 6.5 for Curry threes.
He's going for it.
Juice on that's what I'm saying. So usually you see that number 4.5, 5.5. I don't think I've seen a 6.5 before. Yeah. So they think he could go for it.
I think he's like, think about like what they've accomplished. And I know, like, listen, if they had another home game, I would say, what, they'll get some of them now and some of them later. But like, Steph Curry's a showman, and they have the team that would want to do this. They have the IQ where they can continue to get him shots. And like I said, they're not playing against the stalwart defensively here. Like Portland is awful, and they don't guard the 3. So I'm not as crazy to say a guy's going to make 16 threes, but it's not crazy for me to sit here and tell you he's going to go for it. And when Steph Curry goes for something, I mean, most of the time he figures out a way to get it done.
Yeah, Portland actually ranks last in the league in 3-point percentage defense.
They're saying there's a chance.
Opponent 3-point percentage, 30%. Yeah, 30.
One more question, Brian, before we let you go. Obviously, the West is a race basically between 3 teams for that first spot. The East, it's close. I mean, really, really close. Any given night, teams can shift from like 7th to 12th to, I mean, it's crazy. Like, what are you expecting? Who are you kind of expecting to break out of the pack from the middle teams right there?
Kevin Durant is so good at basketball that it's really hard for him to lose games consistently. He just it's rare. He makes the right play almost every single time. So I do think no matter what's going on, like I don't think Brooklyn's a finished product. I do think that they're going to figure out a way to have the best record. I think they want home court advantage. But one thing I think the Bucks in this NBA 2021, 2022 with the physicality, I think they're the best team in the East. And they might be the best team in the NBA. It's just hard to imagine how they would guard the Warriors or guard the Suns. But like the Bucks are good and no one's talking about them because everyone's focused on, like the Warriors and the Suns. But all the Bucks do, they got big, strong, physical defenders. They shoot the ball well and they pass, and they're going to get healthy. So I don't think the Bucks are going to have the best record, but I do right now. My money is on the Bucks to go to the NBA Finals, and probably if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick them to win it.
I like it. Scal hoping for 16 threes from Steph Curry tonight.
It's gonna be sweet.
How do you do it? Is this the cool thing to do?
No, that's Melo.
That's Melo. You gotta get 3 to the phone.
Steph goes like this. He goes like this.
Steph turns around and like takes bows and like talks to the bench while the ball's 40s and reaches. Yeah.
16 threes, guys. Let's go.
Yeah,
Scal, thanks so much for taking the time. Have a good night tonight.
You got it. See ya.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. 16 threes. We're hoping for it. All right. From the NBA to NCAA b-ball, let's talk a little bit about college tonight. Who are you on? What teams are you looking at? And what surprised you so far, Alex? Is there any surprises for you?
Well, I told you last week, I was kind of taking a break from the kids, right? The kids, they hurt me a little bit. Duke hurt me against Ohio State last week. So I took a couple days off from the kids, but I'm back tonight. Surprises so far this year. Purdue, to be honest with you, has been a little bit of a surprise, but I'm not putting too much stock in them just yet because I know how Big Ten basketball can go. So we're going to kind of see how that goes. The cream tends to rise to the top.
That's what my dad always said: is the cream always rises.
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. And I'm not. Purdue basketball. I don't know, something. It just doesn't pass the smell test for me right now. Great team. Not taking anything away from them. Just doesn't pass the smell test for me right now. And it's December 8th.
Quick question for you. Mark Turgeon was out as Maryland's head coach. How can the Terps reset their program that has high expectations every year, but kind of have been falling flat recently?
Yeah, recently it's been pretty bad since Gary Williams left, to be honest with you, for Maryland. It's funny. I was actually just talking to one of my friends who played at Maryland a couple years ago under Gary Williams and kind of asked friends. Friends. And I was just like, what do we do here? Like, how do you right the ship? Who's the guy? Because Maryland they can't miss on this hire, right? And I just threw a name out there. It's not a serious name, but it's just like, maybe not a head coach, but someone to bring on the staff, like a Juan Dixon, right? He's the head coach at Coppin right now here in the Baltimore area. And he hasn't done anything notable really in his coaching career to earn, the Maryland job. So it's just kind of like a name for me, somebody that can, he's a big staple in Maryland, obviously, big part of that national championship team, would help with recruiting. Because right now, with the news of Turgeon being out, you have 5-star guys talking about entering the transfer portal. It's just all bad for Maryland basketball. So where do they go from here? It's a great question. A name that is interesting to me is Sean Miller. It's a name that was kind of in Maryland talks when Gary Williams was out in 2011. I think Sean maybe has a little too much stink around his name right now to pop back up like this. But, you need a big name like that, a big coach, so you can't just get a guy like Juan Dixon, a gimmick, just a name. You need someone who's going to coach a team and be ready for Big Ten basketball because, Big Ten basketball is tough. In Maryland, there's a lot of talent in this state. So for me, when you're looking for this next head coach, you need someone that's going to keep the talent in state and someone that can coach. So I don't know who that guy is. I think there's too much stink around Sean Miller's name to even consider that right now. Juan Dixon, not the guy. So I don't know where they go, but they need to get it right.
I don't know where they go, but they need to go somewhere. So
they need to get it right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of games on the board tonight. Is there anyone that stands out to you? Are you in on any bets?
So I'm looking at the Indiana-Wisconsin game, right? And, I'm talking about Big Ten basketball here. That's
good.
I'm looking at the total, 131.5. And, Indiana averaging 80 points a game. Wisconsin's offense, not great. Great defense, holding opponents to under 60 points a game so far this season. I think it's going to be a Big Ten slugfest, nice defensive game, but 131.5, a little too low for me. So I'm going to go with the over in that one. That's my only pick for the night.
The rare over
easing back into the kids. And I'm taking the easy route with the college basketball over. So I'm easing back into the kids. So yeah.
Easing back into the kids.
Yeah. That's what I'm on tonight.
I'm also looking at a kind of Big Ten game, but not really. It's Towson versus Ohio State. I like Ohio State.
Oh, don't tell me you're going to fade my Tigers now. Come on.
Sorry. It's hump day, and that means no more non-conference action, my friend Alex Glaze, the Glaze-a-Laza. I have Ohio State laying 15.5 in this one. It's in Columbus, Ohio. Towson has won 3 straight, including a 73-58 drubbing, basically, over Kent State on Monday. But Ohio State they upset Duke the other day. They did not have a letdown since then, right? They took apart Penn State on the road December 5th for their first Big Ten win. And Towson has played pretty good basketball this season. They're coming off playing one of their best games against Kent State, but they just played Monday night. That gives them 2 nights. And I know we talk like the NBA, they play every other night, but there's usually quite a few games in between, quite a few days in between college basketball games. So they just played Monday night. They played incredibly, but they just have one day to prepare for this bigger, faster, stronger team that shoots lights out from the 3-point range, basically. What?
Maybe a look ahead spot here. Maybe they're just, Towson's coming to town. We don't, whatever. Just, sandwiched in between the Big Ten games. Towson's a good team. They can shoot. If they can shoot tonight, 15.5 is a lot of points. We'll see. They don't have the bigs. They don't have the bigs to match up, but
you look at Towson against San Francisco. They show that they can struggle against bigger teams. I think Holden's a terrific player, but he's going to be giving up a lot of size if he has to defend either Liddell or Key. So
why am I arguing with you? You're always right. Why am I arguing? You're right.
Ohio State. I think you hammer. For a team like Ohio State, you can zone Ohio State, but they can still crush you from the perimeter. So if Nolan doesn't play, this could get ugly super early on. I like Ohio State laying 15.5 in this one, even though Towson has been playing well. I'm sorry I'm fading your team. Since when have they been your team? I'm just thinking about this. You're fading my team?
I went to school at Towson.
You didn't, did you?
I'm a Towson Tiger. That's right.
How did I not know this?
I'm a Towson Tiger. I mean, it's okay.
Have I been under a rock?
No. I mean, it's not something. I mean, there's no reason to really talk about Towson. We talk about, the big boys. We don't talk about little old Towson. But, it's okay. It's all right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be fading your team.
It's okay. I'll get over it.
Yeah, and I'm also a Big Ten girl, and now I'm rooting for Ohio State. Like, who am I?
What's going on with you? What's going on with you right now?
What's even happening right now? I don't even know. I also want to hear your thoughts on this one. UConn against UVA. I like the UConn money line at plus 108. You know me. Anytime I see a plus sign next to a number, I just feel like I have to take it, basically. Every single bet that
you mean West Virginia. UConn, West Virginia.
Every plus sign I see. I'll be taking you. Okay. Anyways, I look at UConn going against UVA. UConn money line plus 108.
West Virginia, not UVA. West Virginia.
That's what I meant. Sorry. That's what I meant. University of West Virginia. Why did I say UVA? Why did I type it on my computer as UVA? And then right underneath it, it says West Virginia comes into this matchup favored by 2 points. So West Virginia. Sorry about that. My bad. I think this is going to qualify as West Virginia's toughest game to this point in the season. Mountaineers riding a 4-game winning streak right now. Huskies could pose a problem for them here in this spot. UConn, they've earned some respect. 2 quality early season wins, should be able to handle the Mountaineers' backcourt pressure, in my opinion. But West Virginia has kind of struggled defensively on the defensive glass, which is one area where the Huskies have really excelled this year. So I think I take UConn to cover the spread on the road in this non-conference game showdown, but I'm not taking the spread. I'm taking the money line, but I would also bet the spread for UConn as well.
You tell me if I'm crazy, but it seems like for me, when I watch the kids, right? When I watch college basketball, if you're a ranked team going on the road to a hostile environment to play an unranked opponent, you are going to get their best. The crowd is going to be crazy. And it just seems like that's an L always. It just always seems like somehow just that home court advantage just plays such a big role. I haven't watched enough UConn or West Virginia to really have a hardcore opinion basketball-wise about, but it just seems like on paper, that just seems like a bad spot. And that's why I think the number's so short. But you tell me if I'm crazy, because it just seems that way. It's because the kids get rattled. The kids choke on the road.
I love that I just love that you say kids. You go, kids have been like hurting me. Kids, blah, blah, blah.
Ever since I turned 30, I'm just like, the kids.
Isn't it so funny? I'm talking about someone that's younger than you. You're like, yeah, they're like 12. It's always 12. 12 is like the age that you always say. No, but I mean, I see where you're coming from in a spot like this. Like momentum is a real thing. Energy is a real thing. Being in a, building where your crowd is pulling for you, that's a real thing. But at the same time, for the most part, for me, talent always wins, which is why I think Michigan beat Ohio State.
How do you explain Ohio State over Duke? I mean,
it is true.
It's an Ohio State team that struggled with Akron. You know what I mean? It's just nothing. College basketball is weird.
Momentum's a funny thing. And energy is a funny thing. So we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe this will be the first bet I lose in a little while. So, but I still
there we go. Humble brag. There we go. Throw it in there. There we go.
But we're still feeling good about it. We're feeling strong about it. UConn money line plus 108. Lock it in. I love it. All right. Play of the day. Pickswise 3-star play of the day. Alex, who we got today?
Yes. If you go to Pickswise.com, you can see one of the many 3-star plays on our site right now. We got Utah State getting 7 points at BYU tonight. It's from our friend Sam Avalon, I believe I'm saying that right. Sam Avalon. Utah State plus 7 at BYU. 3-star play today. Go to the website, read his reasoning, and there are a couple other 3-star plays on the website. So giving out a lot of winners on the Pickswise website.
You love to see it. Okay, so best bets of the day. I'm going first because I love yours so much, and I just want to end on a strong note on this show. So I'm going to go first. Flyers at New Jersey Devils. I have the Devils puck line at plus 155. Both horrible teams. Both not very good at all. Both in a slump right now. Philly is 0-7-2 over their last 9 games. 1-7 against the spread in their last 8. The Devils have lost 4 in a row. You're like, why are you using this for your play of the day? I have a reasoning, okay? Devils have lost 4 in a row. They lost to Ottawa. They're 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games. Now, you have 2 teams that are both playing so badly, but no one is denying the struggles of the Flyers right now. This team can simply not get out of their own way. And it's going to take some time before Yeo can turn this club around. This is a team that has a new head coach, just like we were talking about, but it doesn't happen overnight, right? Momentum shifts, switching things around, the energy in a locker room. It takes a little while to build after getting a new coach. For me, it starts with goaltending. They've allowed 7 goals in each of the last 2 contests, 29 goals over their last 5 games. So that's 29 over 5. Doing the math, what does that equate to? Like 6 goals a game, something like that almost?
A lot of goals.
Yeah, that's a lot of goals over 5 games. New Jersey already proved that they could beat Philadelphia. They won 5-2 back on November 28th. And I think Blackwood is playing well enough to keep his team in games. And that's going to clearly be the difference in this contest. I think the Devils are going to win by 2 goals or more, because of the sure fact that Philly's been allowing so many goals. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I have the Devils puck line plus 155. I love the value there with that bet. Okay, now let's end on an unreal note with your best bet of the day, because this is my favorite bet. I'm definitely tailing you on this one. Feel really good about it.
Listen, I need to catch up with you. You're up like over 20 units right now, so I need to do something to make up some ground here. So I found a spot that I like, okay. Man U, I'm a Man U guy. Taking on the young boys today, group stage, Champions League. They don't need to win this one. They already got, they're already solidified their position. They're good to go. But something to keep an eye on today. Cristiano Ronaldo needs a goal today to score in all Champions League group stage matches, something that he has already done before in 2017. This will be his second time doing that. And I'm not going to bet on Man U because I've done that way too many times this year, and it is not going my way. But Cristiano going to score tonight, plus 240. I like the value there, especially when you consider what's on the line for him. And look, he's a guy that he's definitely paying attention to that kind of stuff. So I just see that happening. That's happening.
I love it. I mean, let's just speak it into existence. Cristiano Ronaldo, anytime goal.
That's going to happen. Cash.
Anytime goal at plus 2 what? Plus 260 something?
240.
Plus 240. I love it. You love to see it. Our boy Cristiano Ronaldo is going to find the back of the net tonight. We're manifesting it. It's going to happen. I'm tailing you on that bet, Alex. Way to find that. Let's go, boys. I love it. All right.
No. They're playing the young. No. You got to clarify because they're playing the young boys. So we can't say let's go, boys. We gotta be specific.
Sorry. Let's go, young boys.
No, not the young boys.
Not
the young boys.
You're confusing me. We're gonna end the show on this, okay? Cristiano Ronaldo's gonna score a goal tonight, plus 240. Lock it in. It's happening. We're speaking it into existence. Make sure to hit that up. All right. Great show today, Alex. Love ya. You're the best. Let's bet it. Let's get it. Let's bet it. Best of luck tonight, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you again tomorrow. Peace and love. And Cristiano Ronaldo goals. Let's go.